So, if we are ready, then I believe
We recording?
episode 22 of the Stuck on Stuff podcast.
What up, Stiz?
What up, Snuck?
We're back.
We are back, and today we have a big special guest.
Big one.
We've had some big guests before. This one's up there.
This one's super up there, right?
Certainly the most handsome.
Easily.
That was kind of gay, and I apologize.
Way better looking than CT, if you ask me.
We have my boy, the host of the Matty and Nick show on WAAF. He is an actor, he is a comedian, and he is a Massachusetts native. Matty Blake. Make some noise for Matty Blake.
What up, Matty?
You know, when I was a kid, I dreamed of someday I used to sit in front of my mirror and dream of winning an Academy Award. I would actually give speeches, but being on the Stuck on Stuff podcast
It's a big deal.
Crushes that dream.
I mean,
Doesn't get much bigger.
It really doesn't. No, kidding aside, I love what you guys do.
Yes.
You are a phenomenal talent, sir.
Preach.
I tell him all the time, Stiz, what a talent he is. He knows where I stand with him.
Stiz is very talented.
You do a rap thing that's freaking incredible.
Appreciate you.
Really do, man.
Appreciate
that fast
brother.
stuff you do is
Hey.
no joke.
Yeah,
Second to none,
It's
kid.
so
No joke.
with the double time, it's
Yeah.
just so impressive.
Thank you.
You
That's
know
what
what
it's
I
called,
mean?
double time?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
it's
double
double
time.
time.
Yeah, so you're going double the beat. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if the beat is a 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4 tempo, you're rapping at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And don't get it twisted. That's why I charge it double the time. Because when these dudes ask me for verses, they do cost money. And I'm not just writing that. When I write a 16-bar verse, syllable-wise, I'm writing a 32. So I'm going to need double
that's true.
that.
Yeah, that is very true. So
Thank you for the
brought-
kind words, though. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you, Matty. We brought Matty on because the season finale of Curse of Oak Island is coming up, season 5.
Big.
I believe. The Curse of Oak Island, if you haven't heard about it, which I'm sure everybody has, it's on the History Channel. It is the highest rated cable show on Tuesday nights.
Major.
And you host the companion show to that called Drilling Down, where after key episodes, you will sit down with the entire cast and talk about, what they found on that episode and what they plan to do going forward. And that's on location, right?
Yeah, well, it used to be in New York City, and I used to do like Talking Dead is for Walking Dead. Literally after every episode of Oak Island, I came on a set in New York City with the full cast and some of the crew and interviewed them. All right, what did we just see in that episode?
Yeah.
Just like Talking Dead.
Just like Talking Dead.
But
They
then
do it with every show now, which I actually like.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. That
I like
Especially with
it.
reality-based shows, they're doing it on all of them.
And if I'm invested in a show, I like that.
You want
that
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
want
sure.
more. Yeah.
Well, then I
exactly.
took a fucking radio job in Boston, so now I can only do 3 one-hour specials. So that's what it's been reduced
Got to
to.
get in where you fit
Is
in.
that really why?
Part of it.
Part of
it.
that really why they don't do it after each episode now? They're just doing kind of like
Part of
key
it.
episodes?
My
Yeah.
schedule, their schedules, it became unmanageable to do 13 or 15 after every show. It just is too much for everybody.
Yeah. And so for anybody that doesn't know, I produce the Matty and Nick show, so I work with Matty every day. That is how I came to know Matty.
It is a rock channel out here in Boston for those of you hip-hop heads
Yeah,
listening.
WAAF is a rock station, but what we do is more of
The
a
rock station.
talk show with
Right.
music mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like funny stuff, I think you should really check it out. I mean, I dig what we do. I mean, and I
dig what you
I'm
guys
a little,
do. I'm a hip-hop
thank
head.
you. Yeah.
Outside looking in, I always tune in.
Yeah.
When I'm in the whip, I tune in every
And
time.
honestly, that's how I got into the Hillman Morning Show out here, because there was nothing, Jammin' plays the same hip hop songs over and over. I was sick of it. I needed content.
And well, you don't need to be a hip hop dude to bang out to Stuck on Stuff the same way I don't need to necessarily be this rock and roll guy to bang out to Matty and Nick. It's just it's relatable stuff that everybody can mess with.
Yeah, so definitely check that out.
And it's funny as shit.
I just wanted to break down how I know Matty. So talk about season 5, because this season was kind of big. I mean, they found some pretty crazy shit.
Yeah, well, if you don't know what the Curse of Oak Island is,
Yeah, that's probably maybe we
Right,
should.
right. Probably break that down first. Just briefly break that down a little
hello, rap people.
for the layman's. Yeah.
I'm Matty,
Yeah.
and I'm
hello, little booger.
I'm a rock and roll guy, but you're gonna like me. I'm pretty dope. Is that what I say? Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Little
work.
rock and roll.
Oak Island is an island in Canada that for over 220 years people have been trying to figure out what is buried under Oak Island. Somebody at some point in history created a system of underground chambered vaults, and we don't know what they hid, and we don't know who did it. 6 people have died while searching over the years
And
for
there's
this
a magic
treasure.
number.
Well, that's the curse
That's
part.
the curse.
Okay.
Now,
7 people are supposed
we don't know
to
where
die.
the curse came from. It seems to be an oral tradition, like 7 must die before the island reveals its
Right.
It's a great title.
I like that oral tradition. I never heard that before. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah,
and,
it's
Yeah, like
and another
stories that are
context,
passed
but-
down to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a new song for you.
Yeah, I like
Oral
Why don't you
tradition.
come here, baby? Why don't you give me a little?
Wow,
oral
then why'd you
tradition?
have to take it there? But yeah, so anyway, these brothers are the latest searchers, and the show on History Channel chronicles their search to figure out what the hell is buried in Oak Island.
Do we know they're chambered vaults?
Well, we don't know anything.
Because I know that they're always
For sure.
trying-
Save
Yeah.
that drop.
Love
Yeah.
it.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't know anything, but these brothers have found things that, in my estimation, prove. They're shy to say that. They're gun shy to say that.
Yeah.
Prove that somebody built, these are man-made works. For example, there's an area of the island called Smith's Cove, and late last season they dug it up and found a French drain system, which
Crazy.
has to be man-made. Has to be. You don't.
Right.
French drain systems with rock layers don't get made by accident.
Right.
You can see where they place the little drains.
Because what is kind of a French drain
A
system?
French drain
It's,
would be the system that they would use to flood tunnels.
Yeah.
So that indicates man-made works. But to answer your question, Stan, this season 5 has been huge. It's been, since I've been working on the show, the most active season. They brought on this guy, Gary Drayton, who's a metal detecting expert, and it's been like a lightning bolt went off. He just finds shit every week.
Right.
And he's found human bones.
What was the deal
this
with that?
season.
What was the deal with that cross?
Well, the lead cross looks exactly like the carving of a cross that was found in a Templar prison. And so when you find a Templar cross, if it is what we think it is,
I love the Templar
that
shit.
immediately goes to, there's many theories as to who did it on Oak Island. That immediately goes to the Templar theory, which
Right.
brings you to the Middle Ages, which changes North American history. Because
And
now
let
you've
me-
got Templar people coming to North America.
And let me help me if I fuck this up. Let me kind of try to explain what Templar is. To the best of my knowledge, the Knights Templar
Explain
were
that shit to
these-
me. Yeah.
were these group of people. This was after Jesus' death, and supposedly they were this group of people that were charged with safeguarding the Ark of the Covenant.
They were a rap group from Mission Hill.
From Mission
They're
Hill.
called the Knights Templar.
Yeah. I used to open up for them back in the day.
Yeah,
Remember?
one of them did a really
yeah.
fast rap.
Yeah,
He did,
yeah.
that was his
Double
thing.
time,
He did a
double
double
time.
time.
I stole this whole shit. yeah.
They were basically Christian warrior monks.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they were, the legend has it that they were guarding religious treasure and artifacts. And we know certain things about them historically that are fact, like they were jailed. But
Didn't they do some fucked up shit though?
Well-
the Crusades, were they the ones doing the Crusades? Because Christians have been persecuted throughout a lot of the years, but also I think Christians did some persecuting as well.
So imagine being in that jail. Holy shit.
yeah, man, the history is long and varied.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that all is intertwined with the history of Christian martyrdom and
Yeah.
the Crusades and all that. This aspect of their story is in regards to what they may have been guarding and where
Yeah.
they were like, actually, it's a funny thing. They were like the first bankers. So they would, based on their riches, lend money
Mm-hmm.
and exchange money with people. So they were the bank of the Knights Templar, basically.
Right.
So they had a lot of money that they
And
were
what were
saving.
their
Exactly.
what were their riches though? What,
And no one knows, right?
Right,
No
right.
one knows for sure, but they had an abundance.
Religious artifacts, possibly.
and now how do
gold,
they
treasure.
date? How do they date those the artifacts? Like for example that cross. How do they take that cross and look at it and determine what
Carbon?
era it's from or what age it's from? You
It's
know
a
what
great question, and for every artifact they find, there's different things they can and can't do. Carbon dating is one thing that you can do to certain items you can't do
I mean?
to
It depends
others.
on what the material is.
Absolutely,
made of.
and they bring it to this college that's in Nova Scotia. They go to Halifax a lot to these scientists for different things, and then but the shitty thing is, so many times it's inconclusive because they'll give them a range. So they'll go,
Right.
this could be anywhere from
Right.
1650 to 1780. It's like, well, if it's 1780, that doesn't do us a lot of good because that could be,
Yeah.
pretty recent.
That could be a whole
If it's
different-
Middle
yeah.
Ages, if it's 1400, then we got something. So the ranges sometimes are too varied, and you're like, damn it.
And Nova Scotia is technically, that's North America,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, and so what this could prove, if we can find, if you guys prove that these Templars came here well before Columbus, then that proves, which I think obviously the Indians were here, so obviously Columbus didn't. He wasn't the first one to discover America, but that could prove that the Templars were here a long time before Columbus.
It rewrites North American history.
Crazy.
It rewrites North American history if it's true.
I think, and I've seen some stuff that said the Vikings might have came here too. There might be some stuff that says the Vikings have came here.
Absolutely.
And that's funny because you live in Rhode Island, and there's this thing in Newport, I believe, that I didn't friggin' check out. I didn't learn about it until after I had went there a couple summers ago. There's like a stone tower with some fucking holes in it at the top.
Yeah.
And I watched a show on it, and it said that it might be connected to Templar.
Interesting fact about that. It's actually in my backyard. It's constructed of Bud Light cans.
Yeah.
It's a huge Bud Light pyramid. And
So-
people come from all over to see.
So they don't know what they're looking for. End of the day, right? They just know that there's some type of treasure, but they don't exactly know what the treasure is.
It started from these two boys.
The McGinnis, the legend has it that the Daniel McGinnis and his friends were in a canoe outside of Oak Island. Now, Oak Island already had a reputation.
And what year are we in right now?
Oh my God,
1700s,
that was
1800s.
No, 18th century.
Okay, 18th century.
And I'm going to check that after the podcast because I've got so many numbers floating around.
I'll
17.
I believe you either way.
Yeah, no, I want to say. I'm going to guess 1786.
1786. We'll go with.
I just pulled that out of my back of my mind.
Sounds
so
good.
many numbers. Look up Daniel McGinnis in the search.
Okay.
They were in a canoe and they saw what they described as anomalous lights on the island.
Yeah.
Now the island already had an oral tradition.
Oral tradition. There we
of
go. It's the name of the episode, just so you know.
Yeah. 1,000%. Oral tradition. 1795.
What'd I say?
1786.
Not
I
bad.
think.
you were
Not bad.
close, you were
Something happened in 1786. I don't remember. But so they see anomalous lights. They go to the island. They see, and again, the island already had a reputation back then for weird type of stuff,
Weird
like
shit,
are people
yeah.
burying pirates. So they race to the island. They see a depression in the ground, and on an oak tree, a rope hook thing hanging off as if someone had been lowering something into the ground. So they're like, what the F? So they start digging. They find 10 feet down wooden platforms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly 10 more feet, more wooden platforms. Exactly 10 more feet, more wooden platforms. Like, holy crap.
That's crazy.
What's going on?
Yeah.
They hire a company. They
That
start
would be
a company.
crazy, though, if you found that.
Oh,
You're
my
like,
God.
yo, what's going on down there?
They
Yeah.
start hand digging. They find little items like a piece of a gold chain. Now they're going, oh, my God. And then they get to a level 180 feet down. That might be the 186. I'm thinking 187. They find a stone slab with weird hieroglyphic writing on it. And that is the event that changes everything.
Yep.
You know, that's the thing that goes, okay, what is going on Oak Island?
170, 180
I
feet
believe
down.
so.
A fucking slab.
Oh no!
Stone.
What am I doing? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I'm thinking of the chapel vault. That's 100 something. 90 feet. 90
Okay.
feet.
So
They find
100
the stone.
feet.
So sorry. 90-foot stone. As a matter of fact, that's what it's called to this day. 90-foot stone.
But you got to think how crazy that is for that time, too.
Oh my
Like,
gosh!
yeah.
And that's hand
Yeah.
digging. They're doing hand
Yeah.
digging,
Right,
by the
right.
way. Which you ever
This
try
is
to dig
the
a hole?
stone.
Right.
Try
yeah.
and get 10 feet. Good luck.
Oh, that's the actual
That's
stone
the stone,
stitch?
and that's the that's.
So it's like, what is it, like
that's the
hieroglyphs
shorter-
or something? So we're clearly
what is
dealing
that,
with
not
aliens of
B1?
some sort here.
Replica of it because
okay.
no one ever could find to this
Oh, it's a
day.
replica of it.
They don't know where it is.
Oh, all right.
And they've tried on the show to find it. Actually, there was rumors that it was in someone's hearth at one point.
So
in
are we
Canada.
dealing with aliens here, Stiz?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
and we definitely do. I do want to talk a little about aliens in a little bit because Matty he's very into that. But so that original hole that they dig,
Yeah.
is what is referred to as the money pit.
Correct.
It's the original
Correct.
hole that those
But it was
two
just
brothers.
two dudes,
Correct.
though.
Yeah.
So, like, they
15
start
years old.
spreading
Well,
the
it
word to the
started with them,
point
yes.
where it becomes
Correct.
Yeah.
thing for everyone
and then
that goes there.
everyone starts coming there.
They actually formed a company. Once they couldn't go
Yeah.
much deeper. They were kids and their
Kids.
friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So they formed a company, and then they started digging deeper.
and then somehow that hole gets lost. That
Correct.
original hole somehow
Yes.
gets filled with shit and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. And then because I just want to try to make our way to the Lagina brothers. So then I don't know what, maybe one or two more search expeditions try.
Oh no, many more.
Many
more.
Yeah, because you got to think if people are hearing about this, they're going to venture off on their own and just start snooping around and
I wonder
digging
how
around
much
and
is
shit,
the
right?
yeah, of course. But I wonder how much is like the most someone has ever found, like treasure.
Oh, that's a good question.
Treasure.
You mean not Oak Island, like
No,
just in
just
general?
any.
That's
I
a
mean,
really good question. I should.
So many people be like looking for treasure. Like you, like has someone found like a shitload of fucking treasure?
This guy Gary
time?
Drayton, the metal detector, has found jewels like off the coast of Florida, like Spanish pirate jewels. I think one of them was like worth. It was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he's made some
that actually
finds.
That ties into a question I was going to ask you anyways. Is like, say a treasure gets found there at Oak Island. Who owns this? Is it who found it? Is it does Nova Scotia own it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Who, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I can answer that.
Is it the History Channels? Like, whose is this shit now?
There's something called the Treasure Trove Act that the brothers have with the Canadian government, and ironically, the treasure they find, if they find like temporal treasure, like money, gold, jewels, they can keep that. If they find historical artifacts, everything shuts down. And that's what they care about. Now, what I always say is, well, if they find a religious artifact, where does that stand?
Right.
So if it's made of gold, I mean, then you're talking, like, you're telling me the Israeli government's not going to get involved if they find the Ark of the Covenant, let's say? You know what I mean? Like, they'll be able to just walk with the...
Yeah.
Right.
So it becomes very interesting. But
I know the government of Egypt is very particular over who gets access to those pyramids and like who can dig around there. So.
Canada seems to think more about, in my estimation, these are my opinions, because it is a touchy subject. Canada cares more about the history of the island.
That's good.
And if they unearth what they believe to be where people built a residence, let's say, all of a sudden it's like shut down.
Yeah.
We got to bring an archaeologist in here and not disturb this site. If they find a ruby or something, which they did this season, it's just like, oh, we found treasure. Good. It's ours.
The bone doesn't qualify as a...
Well, the bone, they found human remains.
Right? That was human, yeah.
Now that got very interesting. I was there when they found it and shooting my show, my special.
Crazy.
One of my specials. And it became a thing where it's like, listen, if this dates like from the 1920s or 30s or 40s or even, any time around modern, we shut the whole island down because we got a murder scene.
Yeah, it's a murder case now.
Right?
Yeah, it's a murder case. Yeah.
So it was very tense. It was fun to be there. I was like, what the hell is going on?
What's the cutoff of stop giving a fuck if someone gets murdered? Like 200 years or something?
No, like the 50s or something. It's like not that far away.
So there's an actual...
There is.
Yeah,
there's a date. There's a date.
Where we still have to... So if it's to the point where like you might have like a grandkid alive, then we still care. But if you're like 4 generations, fuck you, right?
Kind of, yeah. I think that's exactly right.
Guys, in 1840, while a couple of guys were digging a hole, they dug up a lead box. This is 1840. Inside was one of the biggest hoards of Viking treasure ever found. More than 8,600 items were documented, including silver coins, various bits of jewelry, and silver ingots. Total, 3.2 mil.
Wow. Where was that, Stiz?
That was in England.
Oh, England.
Great research.
It's crazy to think about, but I mean, this is true. Hundreds of years ago, pirates were fucking going around the world, stealing from people, doing whatever. Templars are roaming around. Vikings are roaming around.
And here's something I've learned about pirates on the show. We have some of it's true. Pirates were crazy.
Right.
But they were really privateers. What we call pirates were privateers. And there were guys on privateer ships, that knew math, engineering.
So they were smart.
Digging. They were smart.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
MFers.
I mean, you don't have GPS. You got this shitload of treasure.
That's right.
You got to put the shit somewhere.
Yeah,
no GPS.
Do you have, why are they always... Because, all right, so you could have a treasure.
I know.
Place.
Back then, what are you gonna do with it? You're just a guy holding a bunch of treasure.
It home. Like,
you don't have more food or something automatically. Like,
I could see if your boat crashes. I know there's a lot of shipwrecks. Treasure is found on shipwrecks. But like, why do they always bury the treasure? Let's bury it here. Let's bury it on Oak Island and leave. I know if I had that much shit,
I'm thinking beef. Pirate beef. Or other people know you got something. You're working with something, and
nowadays
you can't just have it on you.
What the modern day equivalent of a pirate now would put it in his Swiss account.
Yeah,
right. The Swiss account.
There was no Swiss account back then, so you bury it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a very good analogy, bro. So, I I guess I want to ask too, kind of stay on Oak Island for a little bit more. Like, so reality television, it's a lot of Kardashians,
a lot of shit that I watch.
Yeah, he loves that. He loves that, some of that stuff. Yeah. But there definitely is a lot of fuck shit going on. So, like with Oak Island, is there a lot of fuck shit going on? Are they setting up stuff? Are they,
right.
we're gonna do
from
it
being
like
on
this.
set, you don't see.
Yeah, like or is it real? It's like what you see, what you get. Like these guys are really.
No, I don't mean, and we don't mean that they're like gonna like just put a little gem in there, and then the guy comes through and finds it.
I mean that
like,
too, but
and that, yeah, and that, and any sort though.
I mean, look, Stan, you know me, and people listening don't know me, but all I can tell you is I wouldn't be part of something that was misleading people. I just wouldn't. And I know the production company. These guys at Prometheus, Joe Lassard, Kevin Burns, big company in L.A. They are the salt of the earth. I'm telling you, they're the best people. They've been so good to me. And the Lagina brothers, let me tell you something about the Lagina brothers, the modern day treasure hunters that this show is based on in their team.
Yeah.
They were hunting for this stuff before Prometheus ever came and started filming. And in fact, they said no. They're like, no, we're not TV guys. We don't do that. These are engineers.
They don't strike me as TV.
No,
guys.
Then what happened? They came through with the check with the numbers.
Yeah, well, what they did actually. No, well, that's not even true because Marty's independently wealthy. They're fine.
Yeah,
and it was more about.
Yeah, I got to believe these dudes have bread in the first.
Oh,
totally.
Dig, I mean,
you can't do it
dig like that is costing a lot.
That's the other thing.
Of money.
Fans always go, "Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that?" And it's like everything you just listed costs
a lot
minimum
of money.
of $1.5 million.
Right, just to right,
but they said no to it, and then. Prometheus kind of kept at him, and Prometheus made, if I have the story correct, it was told to me at a dinner after I'd had a bunch of wine, they filmed like a spec pilot for them to prove to them, we will be respectful to you. This isn't like a Al Capone's vault. Like, we're going to talk about the history of the show, and the brothers are so impressed by it that the ball started rolling at that point. So they are not in it for gotcha, let's fake something. Everything you see is real to the point where sometimes what I have seen on the islands, they've missed shit. So they got cameras over here and cameras over here, and someone's doing something over there, and they're like, hey, Jack found something, and they freak out. They're like, no, get cameras over there. Stop, so we can get this.
Yeah.
To that point. So not only are they not faking things, things are happening so fast that they've learned over the years, Prometheus, how to kind of like rein it in and go, all right, we're going to go over here now and film this, and then we'll film that after, so they don't miss anything.
Because they don't want to have to refilm like they do on a lot of reality shows if they miss the pot.
Yeah.
If the camera's not in the right spot, they will reshoot.
And the last thing I'll say about that, and this is so true, things happen that seem like in any scripted series, the old cliche, truth is often stranger than fiction, is true. And there are things that happen on that island that they have discussion about, like, no, it's just unbelievable. No one's going to believe that it went down like this, but it is the truth. So they put it out there, and then people on blogs go, this isn't real, but it is real.
It's not just this treasure. There's other things about the island that, what is it? It's like mysterious, it's eerie, what? There's people seeing shit. It's not like Monsterland where, like, there's everything all at once, right?
Yeah,
aliens, Bigfoots, all this shit.
There has been different talk. I mean, talk
so
about
originally you said people saw a light or something, right?
This is where we get into something that gets a little difficult to talk about, but
let's get difficult.
All right, I would just say this: there is undeniably a paranormal aspect to Oak Island.
Perfect. That's what I want to know.
Even the most hardened cynics, and I'm not giving away any super secrets that I wasn't supposed to talk about or anything. Although the show doesn't want to be a ghost show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're not trying to be ghost hunters.
But Marty Lagina on my show admitted. And Marty Lagina is the most practical, scientific. He's the cynic of the show. Yeah. He doesn't believe in any of this bullshit. He got spooked on the island one night, got in his truck, and sped off. And his quote to me was, "I felt unsafe." And I said, "What was it?" And he said, "No, it doesn't matter. I just felt unsafe."
So it was a feeling.
Yeah, and he never really described to me what it was.
Yeah.
And then I have Google. If you're listening to this right now and you're interested in this, Google.
Love your style.
Matty Blake drilling down Dave Blankenship. Dave Blankenship is one of the characters on the show. And yeah, it sounds like a porn, doesn't it? Oh my God. I don't know if that particular order. How about drilling down Matty Blake featuring Dave Blankenship? And you will find on YouTube a clip of Dave Blankenship, season 1 of my show, admitting that he basically saw a UFO. I mean, there's other ways I guess you could describe it. Right. But Stiz, you could probably play the audio.
I'm looking for it. Dave's accident.
I believe
Meet Dave Blankenship.
That
Triton Shift.
It's Drilling Down, Dave Blankenship, see if that comes up. But
So he saw a UFO.
Yeah, and he talks about a burning ball of fire. And his dad's like a World War II veteran. These guys are not bullshitters.
Yeah, no, they're not. Yeah.
And he goes, I just don't know what else to tell you. I saw a ball of light that came.
I've had this talk with Stiz before. Sometimes when people say the word UFO, they get the meaning gets lost. It stands for unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean you saw a fucking green guy floating out of the sky. It means you saw something that you don't know what the fuck it was.
That's right.
And you're not used to seeing it. It was
That's
something
right.
crazy.
There's a great book by a journalist called UFOs, and I've read it on my show too. And Stiz and Nick make fun of me, but
Right, yeah.
She basically says she was a journalist who wasn't a believer, and she went to. They're making actually a film about this book, and she said in the first, like the beginning of the book, she said, "What is absolutely factually known is that there are things in our skies flying that we don't know what they are."
100%.
Different question from ETs.
Complete different question. Yeah, for sure.
So that to me is compelling, and I've had experiences in Oak Island that I would classify as paranormal, and almost everyone I know, if you spend long enough on Oak Island, it's at least unexplainable.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Yeah. Equipment breaks that never breaks. We have a joke on the island. We always go, it's Oak Island, man. Like when something goes wrong that never goes wrong, or if there's a wild coincidence that never happens, or someone gets spooked, or someone sees something, or whatever, we go, welcome to Oak Island.
Creepy place in general.
Yep. Something's going
on. Will there be a season 6, do you think? I mean, it's pretty successful. I would put my money on it.
I know a lot of people that's watching, so.
I'm not at liberty to say, but I'll say this.
I'll take that as a gigantic.
I would say this. Every season that I've worked on the show, I have said to my wife, like, I don't know if we're coming back. Jeez, I don't know. Because it's tough. It's a grind for everyone involved. They love it. They love each other. They love the island, but it's tough, and it's tough to coordinate, and I would be shocked based on Gary Drayton coming on this island and what he has found. I'd be really surprised if there wasn't.
Yeah, you don't stop just stop
really
finding dope shit and then be like, let's get the fuck out of here. Pack up.
Yeah. One thing one thing that I love that Snuck and I do is that we bring people on here that do interesting shit. We've had rappers, we've had journalists.
Really, we try not to have rappers. We actually don't have rappers. We've had a lot of everything,
producers,
Cool.
runway people,
reality
you do
stars,
the acting thing. But
dig it.
I say that because I like that people can watch and maybe if they want to do stuff like that, maybe they can catch a gem or two and point them in the right direction. So. How did you end up on TV, bro? Like, how do you end up on the History Channel on TV hosting a show, on History Channel? Like, and you don't have to go like crazy into detail, but like, what were some of the steps that you took early in your life? That led you from
voiceovers as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he does everything.
Right.
I mean, he, and just real quick, let me say he was in Mystic River alongside Sean Penn and friggin'. Being directed by Clint Eastwood. He's been with
what's the shit you posted
Tina
the other
Fey.
day, because you've done commercials.
Yeah, I did a lot of commercials.
Oh, that was Nick. Nick was Febreze.
That was
a Febreze. Yeah. But he's done.
But I'm talking of voiceovers.
MTV's The Ride. He did that. That was an MTV
I
show. Remember that, The Ride?
Yep.
So, like, if someone wants to get into that type of stuff, like, how do you do that?
I am the worst example to hold up there for how do you do it, because how I did it was I went to Salem State to learn how to be a cop. I wanted to be a cop my whole life, and I ended up doing this for a living.
Woo! Shout out Salem State, everybody! Chug!
I'm the worst example. I'll just say real quick, but
those are the realest stories, though. To me, there is no way. Like, that's how it.
There's no way.
I know, yeah, it is.
There's no way.
It's certainly different for anybody. It's certainly different for everybody. But I do think you have to.
But you don't have the traditional, like, you went to a.
I didn't go to drama school.
Started,
exactly right.
Working on your voice in the studio, the voice.
Stand up. It was stand up, sketch, and improv.
It was comedy.
Just comedy. I started doing that, and
so you would go to improv classes and.
No. My brother signed me up for an open mic night.
Oh shit! Okay.
And I won it. Or I was, the best. I won the audience applause, whatever. It was right here in Boston, and I got a call literally the next day. It happened fast for me. I had like 2 minutes of material. That's it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I'm hosting shows. And it just built from there. And I started doing improv and sketch comedy. I had fast success there, too. I got brought on to Improv Boston on the senior troupe. Back then, it was in Inman Square in Cambridge.
Right.
I learned then. That was my school. That was my 4 years of college. immerse myself in it. I was slowly becoming an artist. I didn't realize it at the time, but I quit my day job, and I was doing stand-up, sketch, and improv full time, and just like drinking it up. I had finally found my people. Like I found my place. It was like, oh my God, I thought I would get caught. Forget about it. Give me more. And I was learning on the job, and I had natural talent, so it just went fast. And then I started doing radio on the side. And
because you end up getting a job. So you're doing comedy now. You end up getting a job with 93.7?
WXLO in Worcester was my first job. I working on the morning show, writing the morning show, and then I did a sports report for Chicks, like a 1-minute sports report.
Yep.
And every hour, I was like, Patriots lost and Tom Brady's cute. Well, it was way before Tom Brady, but you get the point. And
Drew Bledsoe sucked today.
Then I got to Boston, Star 93.7.
Remember that, dude? Star 93.7?
Yeah.
I remember that, too.
I was the head writer of that morning show and did all the bits and funny voices and all that.
Now, I'm in radio. I started with Greg in the morning show. They don't have writers.
Well, Kevin
normal...
Barbary. Kevin Barbary would be the
Kevin Barbary is the
that
guy that used to work on the show.
On the morning show, and he does the voices, the bits, he writes sketches, he writes I kind of created the position myself in a way. I was like, I guess it would be a producer would have been an official title. That's probably how they paid me. You know what I mean? But I would come in and say, here are our breaks. We're going to do this, 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 and this. I wrote this bit, this. I'll call us Bill Clinton at the 4. We'll replay that. I'll do that. And I just sat on the mic and made funny. Like Jackie the Joke Man and Stern or whatever.
Stern, What's your favorite? Stand-up, hosting stuff, radio?
Scripted drama,
writing
dramatic
stuff
acting. Out? No acting.
Just
dramatic acting. Yeah. And if you laid out the cards, you were a genie, Snook, and said you could do anything you want, my perfect zone. And it's weird because I'm a comedian. I'm just like comedian guy, but I would want to act in independent films. I wouldn't want to be super famous. There's these actors that I love that are just right in my pocket. And if I could just do dramatic independent film and make fine money, but not huge money, like that would be my.
Those are the ones that blow up.
That's what I love doing the most.
Those ones blow up big time. They at festivals and shit. And then next thing you know,
I got to go to Sundance with the film. I had a little part in this movie called Hits. It was David Cross, the comedian David Cross. He it was his first writing and directing film, and I played Officer Blauser in that. I had like 5-6 scenes. I was like the comic heavy. Yeah, it was great. And it went to Sundance, and I got to go to Sundance, do the red carpet, go to the premiere, party with. Jason Ritter, John Ritter's son.
When you're gonna go show up to the set and do it, like you don't know it's gonna make it there. Like that's what's dope about it.
Not at all. But
extra shit.
I was never happier than I was on that set.
Real quick, Freddy Krueger thing. John Ritter's son is in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he is.
He told me the greatest joke I've ever heard.
What?
That's my favorite joke of all time.
Whoa, Ritter or his son?
Ritter,
his son.
Jason Ritter.
I'll pull up his thing so you can see
He's
him.
great.
What's the joke?
Am I
What's
supposed to know his son? Is he like who?
Yeah, he's done really well.
He's
done shit
really well.
If you see his face, he was Jason Ritter's son.
That movie actually had some great. David Koechner was in that movie from Anchorman. My God, a lot of great comedians in that.
So what's the joke?
Okay.
What's the joke?
What's the one thing you don't want to hear when getting a blowjob from Willie Nelson? What's the one thing you don't want to hear while getting a blowjob from Willie Nelson?
What's his song titles, Stiz? That's where you got to go.
No, I don't know. Actually, I think I know this. What is it?
Oh, I'm not Willie Nelson.
yeah. That's funny, yo. That's
some dude in a ponytail, baby.
That's funny. So
I love that.
I guess Jason's talented. I wonder how much was like just from like his dad being his dad. I'm sure that helped a little.
His dad was the shit when he got hit with that. But he had, he had the rock in his
Widowmaker
in his pocket. What's that? Problem Child.
I thought you meant his heart attack.
No. I'm referring way more to the actual rock in his.
That's actually a great.
In his shirt.
That's a
pocket.
great term for a heart attack. He had a rock in his chest pocket.
Rock in his chest pocket.
God
Boom.
Bless him.
That's crazy. So, what was it like to get on your first set with Tell me a little bit what Mystic River was like.
All right. Well,
I love that.
That was
movie.
right when I moved. So basically, finish up. I was doing radio and then I got my own show. Actually at AAF. This is like 99, 2000.
Oh yeah, that's right. You worked at AAF before.
And then I made the finals of the Comedy Central Laugh Riots, which was a Comedy Central competition they had, and that was in New York City. So I went to New York City and I came in second of the whole country.
That's
I
great.
was like, holy shit. And there was a manager there, this guy, Tony Camacho. He managed comics. He signed me right like that night. And then I got signed by Don Buchwald and Associates, a huge Stearns agent. And suddenly they were like, oh, no, you have to move to New York like this week. And I'm like, what? Or you can go L.A. I'm like, I'll do New York.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then I was a full-time actor, host guy. And that was it. And that's how I
Making
got into
enough
voiceover.
money to pay rent in New York. That's one thing I've
No,
learned
it's
from
tough,
Matty,
yeah.
dude, is that comedy and like acting and his lane is so different than music. Like he'll tell me oh yeah, these comedians, dude, like, oh yeah, I was making like, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000 a week just doing shows, a couple shows on the weekend and shit. Like
you're like, oh, you didn't have to sell 80 tickets.
Yeah, you
first?
didn't have to sell 20 fucking tickets. And
music's the worst. It is. I feel so bad.
It's
My friends in that band,
it's so bad, dude. Yeah,
it's so bad. There's
so
no
different.
So I've got a union. Well, you know what I mean? We're well compensated. Well, you got to have talent to get there, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So then did that whole New York thing. So that was right when I left for New York. And I only had like one line, basically a featured extra.
Yeah.
I have one line. They cut it. I had a couple more, but they cut it all out.
Did you have to audition for that? Or was
Yeah. Clint was in the next room. I was freaking out.
Yeah, dude.
But then from then, so that was on a set with, that was Sean Penn. My scene was a Sean Penn, Lawrence Fishburne, Clint Eastwood directing.
So
Kevin Bacon is who I said my line to.
So
you know what I mean? Like one day.
For
like,
anybody that don't know, Snuck was saying that I don't think Snuck has seen Mystic River. Bro,
so many people I know, this is their
dude.
cult classic or their favorite movie.
Yeah.
I still have never seen it.
It was one of like the first Boston movies
I know,
that
that's
I remember that I was like,
right.
it was like big, like everyone knew about that. And so for anybody that don't know, it is the scene where they first discover the body of Sean Penn's daughter in that wooded area, and all the cops. Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry. All the cops are walking into this forest to go see the body. Sean Penn being the main cop. Sean Penn walks past Matty, who was also playing a cop. And Matty says something, along the lines of, "Oh my!"
I know you remember every syllable of what you said. What was it?
I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
That was pretty freaking good.
Classic.
Because I can actually pull up the exact thing that he said in it. Ready? Here he goes. Here's Matty Blake in the cult classic Mystic River. Ready? Now this is a long speech.
See how close I was.
I don't even know how you remembered all this.
Let's see how close I was.
I never saw anything like that before.
Not bad.
Man,
Not
that was
bad.
pretty good, bro. That was pretty good.
That was
Nailed
20
it.
years ago.
Yo, so was
Nailed
that?
it.
Did they film that in Boston?
Yeah.
They did,
That was
right?
at Franklin Park Zoo, I think.
Dude, so what was it like to call your parents and be like, oh.
Well, they don't even. They
so
didn't,
family like,
they don't even
They didn't
answer.
understand what I do.
Yeah.
Now you're still doing the skits you do?
Yeah.
Right.
My mom's
Love
like that too.
Stiz says his mom's same way. Like, what are you doing with the rap in there?
Telling my family, like, I want to be an actor, comedian. Not that they weren't supportive. They're always supportive. But it was like saying I want to be an alien and build a spacecraft. They don't understand. It's just not a rational way to make a living.
Get money?
Now they understand it. I mean, 20 years,
Jeez.
25 years on, they get it now. They've seen me on. You asked what it was like to be on A-list sets. That was like an anomaly, the Mystic River thing. Then I went to New York, and by the time I stepped on my the first big film or television set, like doing something, I had done and this sounds like I'm listing my resume, but I'm just trying to answer the question. I hope I don't sound like a dick, but I had done 15 national network commercials at that point.
So what are you, some
no,
fucking big shot guy? Jesus fucking Christ.
So I wasn't freaking out. You know what I mean? Like I was working, and
you would become accustomed to it a little bit.
Yeah, and
gonna
even though they're commercials, but
you didn't come off that set acting cocky as shit. Like, yo, I just did this thing with you when you got up to New York. You know what I mean?
I'd be telling every girl, like, yo, you know who Clint Eastwood is?
I'd be calling everyone an extra around me, like, fuck away from me.
Well, that's
extra.
part of it. I think 90% of the work, at least 50% of the work I got was like, oh, he's a good guy. He won't freak out on set. He works his ass off. Like my agent said to me one time, like, oh my God, you return calls.
Shows up on
You're
time.
so nice. Everyone on the set likes. I go, doesn't everyone do this? She's like, no, they don't.
There's a gem for you guys. You know what I mean? Be a good person. That shit pays off in dividends.
And once again, just be there. Like we said.
Show up.
Be there.
But you can be a dick, dear listener. You can be that asshole dick guy. They work. Assholes work. But you better be the best of the best.
Yeah. That's
like
crazy. So,
how do you meet Stiz?
Oh, yeah,
I want to know that. How does the Stiz grimy shit come into play with the Matty and Nick?
He was working here when we got the show, and we didn't have a producer, nothing. They threw us
so
right
Stiz
on the
is
air.
still what, assistant
Morning
producer
show.
at the morning show?
Morning
I was
show.
the assistant
So they're
producer.
like, hey, Stiz helped them out. And I loved it.
Oh, because you guys were just getting started at the time. You didn't have one
They
yet.
threw us on the air. I was running the board and shit. They threw us on the air.
So you didn't even have the position filled. And
No, my boss sent me an email and was like, "Hey, listen, this new afternoon show is starting. Like, just be in the room and just make sure they don't go off air. Like, just make sure they at least stay."
Amazing.
That's literally
Major
what he
stare at
said.
the computer.
Just don't. Oh my god.
Make sure there's no dead signal.
Yeah,
It's like we're doing a high school podcast for God's sakes.
Yeah. In the top 10 market.
Unbelievable.
It is funny how like simplistic a lot of shit just comes down to. Like that's it. Just
Yeah, you
make sure
assume
that-
it must be
Go ahead.
thought
you
out.
assume it's crazy. It's really not.
But
Yeah.
I love this hustle from day one. Here's a nugget for you kids. We interviewed producers for a month that had major market experience, 10 years, done this, done that, done this. This kid showed up, was just like, what can I do next? What can I do next? What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. I love that. I love when people say I don't know. No one says that. No one says I don't know anymore.
Right. And because you could show them how.
Absolutely.
And they're willing to,
And
you
I just
said the
wanna-
right word, though, is hustle. Stiz got hustle.
I just wanted to hire him from day one, and I made it clear, and we hired him. Boy, the biggest mistake I ever made.
One of the biggest mistakes the show's ever made.
It's funny, bro. It's so funny the way that life works, man. I'm blessed, yo. And truly in Matty, he's almost become like a big bro, and it's just funny the way God or someone or whatever just puts people in your life at certain times.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about before, just
weird.
Stiz made a phone call one day to the morning
that's how
show.
I got on.
Crazy.
And
Yeah,
now,
that's how I got on.
and now
I
we have the,
literally just
#1 podcast in America, and it's just things is just taking
Yeah,
off.
baby.
blowing up, bro.
You guys are growing
Blowing
though.
up. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Like
For
I
sure.
think last episode, like I think it was like 34 streams, which
Love
is
it.
pretty good.
Yeah.
34.
Streams?
No,
What
no,
the fuck you talking about? I'm
it's
like,
a-
yo, because
no,
we
it's
can't
a
see
little
this shit.
more.
I'm
No,
like, we
it's
can't
a
see.
li- It's more than that.
I know we have a few hundred watching on the video portion, which is insane to me.
And
I
then
didn't
we
think
got
anyone would sit down for an
iTunes.
hour and stare at the computer for this shit.
Podcast
but
is the
we-
new wave.
We
bro.
have more listeners probably than watchers, and we got a few hundred watchers already. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Do you think radio's going anywhere? Terrestrial radio, FM?
No, listen. No, I sat in a meeting in the 90s where they told us how satellite radio and all this stuff was there'll be no more
Blow you
radio.
away.
And this one guy, he was like a PD from freaking Texas, something. He leans over to me, he goes, there'll always be a desire by people in their communities for live local radio. They're
Yeah.
going to
that
want
part's true. Yeah.
and he's right. It might not be as big. There might not be as many options, but there'll always be like a Hillman morning show where people are going to want to connect to it and
Yep.
talk about what's going on in their neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
Let's
And
talk some
free.
stuff. What happened the past week?
Holy shit, that's a good question. I was gonna ask you the same. What didn't happen? I got a bunch of shit.
Hit me.
I'll go right down the list. Blac Chyna sex tape.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you know who that is. Blac
don't.
Chyna is a
Blac Chyna had a baby with Rob Kardashian, the Kardashian
Oh yeah, that's
brother.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
the Kardashian.
She's the one that
brother.
had a baby with him. Her sex.
He started going out with her and he was like sprung. He was
Yeah.
totally
What
in
does that
love.
mean? What does that mean?
posting on her Instagram.
just looks like a
everything was
complete
all,
her.
yeah, just
Pussy
like
whipped. He's tweeting shit.
loved
Sprung,
her.
meaning
Yeah,
like he was
sprung,
too
like,
into her?
Yeah,
Like,
too into her. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
When they broke up or whatever, he was tweeting a bunch of shit. Looked like a huge pussy.
Yeah,
Everyone got
yeah.
on.
Like threatened to kill himself when they broke up. Meanwhile, she was cheating on him the whole time.
Oh yeah. Well, everyone could tell from day one. She was there for the
she was
Kardashian
trying to get on
money.
the
It was
show. Yeah.
beyond obvious.
Is
but
she a
whatever.
rapper or?
No, she's just
Okay.
one of these stripper
She's like a
twerking ass
video
bitches.
vixen.
Fake
Got it.
boobs, fake butt,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
type
Got
of
it.
girl, whatever.
Okay.
So the assumption was, oh shit, there's a Blac Chyna sex tape. Like this is gonna be dope. You
It
know what I
wasn't.
mean? Faked his fake ass. And immediately my the memes were next level. She sucked.
Yeah. She
At
was
everything.
A dud. It was
Worst
a
head.
complete dud.
She just sucked.
Yeah.
Big ass and titties for nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't do nothing right. The memes were hilarious. I'll show you some when we get off there. But
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you if you guys saw the Blac Chyna sex tape.
Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was
Watched it, did nothing with it. Usually I've nailed the shit out of myself if I'm
Yeah.
watching a good
I
sex tape.
certainly nailed the shit out of myself to the Kim K tapes. That was all right. The
nail
Kim
my
K
brains off
tape,
to Kim
yeah.
K. But
Just so
Did
you know,
you see that?
the last 45 seconds that just happened between you two, we're playing that on our show. I promise
Oh
you.
yeah, yo, that's actually kind of funny. So for anyone that don't know, what Matty will do, and he actually did it the other day
Right.
with us talking about the Olympics. is
I
he
heard
will-
like the last part of it. I didn't hear that whole shit.
Yeah, he will take like a minute of
Right.
you and I talking, And he will, and the way he set it up, he got me the other day because I didn't know. I really didn't know. He did this behind my back.
Oh, right. They surprised you with it, right?
So all of a sudden he starts talking and he's like, dude, I want to talk about the Olympics, but I found these guys who. These analysts.
If you will.
Who talk about, you talk about just the best analysis you've ever seen. I don't know how I could possibly. And he does this whole like a minute preamble and I'm like, shit, I don't know.
That's what makes it though.
I don't know what it is. And then all of a sudden, and I'm the one who presses the freaking button.
Right, so you're hitting
So
play,
I hit play, and then it's you and me going, fucking catapult him, bro.
Yeah, what the
I don't
fuck?
fucking do
What
that
the fuck?
shit,
Put
bro.
a gun in my head. I couldn't tell you what curling is. I heard the tail end, and they're like, "What's this guy's talking about soccer? What's going on here?" I'm like,
Winter Olympics, he's talking about soccer.
He did the same shit when we talked about my Vegas trip, and I was like, yeah, Chris Angel, homo. yeah. It's like a drop
Classic
on our
shit.
show. All right, what else?
all right, Blac Chyna dropped. What else?
Thumbs down on that.
Yeah, huge thumb down. Semi same topic with the Kardashian squad. Snapchat. I don't know if you guys hit on this. Snapchat lost $1.3 billion in value after Kylie tweets that she doesn't mess with it anymore.
Oh shit!
So
that's how powerful.
So Kylie Jenner just sent out a tweet like, I'm not really messing with Snapchat no more. They lost 1.3 in billion with a B in value.
Holy God!
That's how much
crazy.
stock
And
these kids put in the
Kardashian by relation.
Yeah, she's
a
the
Jenner.
little sister.
She's the one that
sister.
makes herself look like Kim now.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a hottie.
But you got to think for Snapchat, it's a bad hit because they're already taking a bad hit because they did whatever, they revamped the site.
They
shit
did
kind of
something.
sucks now.
An update came out
and
a
I
couple
think
weeks
people
ago.
are kind of dropping out in general, especially because IG kind of does all the shit the Snap does
Yeah, they
now
have
too.
stories, they have videos.
IG's kind of your one-stop shop for all of that.
I remember it came out about a month ago that Kylie Jenner, if you want, and I'm sure this happens all throughout celebrity, it's the game, but if I wanted Kylie to tweet out my new mixtape, $1 million. It's $1 million for her to tweet out your brand.
I didn't know that thing.
Yeah, that shit came out.
So there's a special DM for that. There's a Gmail. What?
You gotta know. You gotta know the right people to make
that.
that happen. But yeah, man, it leaked. That's how much she gets, and it's $1 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So she would like just blast out, check out Stiz Grimey's new single.
Yeah, but it would probably, for $1 million, she'd be like, yo, I'm fucking with this new shit, and I guarantee you that would do something. That's how the game goes.
Clearly, that just shows you it does something. Positive or negative.
Lost, yeah. So.
Snapchat, that's a bad hit. I don't know if they're going to be able to stay afloat. Not just because of that, but just in general.
It'll be like Vine.
Exactly.
Remember Vine?
It might go the way of Vine.
Yeah, Vine.
I didn't understand a word you two just said.
All right, next.
We got another one with the, we were doing the whole celebrities,
touching
and all that shit. Did you hear the Brendan Fraser shit?
No.
You hear the Brendan Fraser shit?
No.
Brendan Fraser says that he was blackballed
after
I did hear this. After a male exec groped him.
I did.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's funny. When I was reading, I was like, you know what? Come to think of it, I haven't seen him.
Yes,
around. It's
exactly.
been a long time.
It was like 10 years. He was just gone.
He was hot for a while.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Now I personally was never a fan. I only liked Airheads. That's just me.
Airheads. Oh my God.
Airheads classic. Some early Folly in that too.
Yeah, right.
Airheads was classic. I wasn't a big fan of really anything he did after that, but I don't know. Do you believe that shit? He's saying a male groped him. I read the whole shit. The word taint was used in the article, which I thought was amazing.
Shit.
Wow.
That's crazy. I seen on Twitter, from what I saw on Twitter, was everyone saying like, holy shit, we feel so bad for Brendan Fraser because we forgot about him. I think it was Variety. I believe it was Variety.
Article kind of made him sound like a bitch, if you ask me. It was like,
I think he's gay.
It says who the name was, but it's like, it was a male exec or whatever. The guy kind of like had his hand kind of behind where his ass is and shit, and so that's like right there is something. He gives a little reach around. That's where the word taint is used. He goes under and kind of like wiggle the taint a little there.
What the fuck?
Give a little wiggle in the taint or something like that. And at this point, still, it doesn't say that he like did anything or like was wild out on him or nothing. He left and he went home and like told his wife about it.
Oh, so maybe is
and
Brendan
I'm like,
Fraser
what
gay?
the fuck is going on?
Maybe
like, this is the
not.
weirdest shit I ever heard in my life. That's not real life. Like, you're not touching my taint. You're bigger than me. I'm throwing shit. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's going down if you touch my taint. Is all.
Though I will say, and let me just play devil's advocate for a second. I will say that and I don't know how this, and you have a little more. You probably have all the experience with this. Dude. But when you're standing in someone like Harvey Weinstein's office, and you're a hungry actor, artist, and you trying to make it, man.
So you're saying it's not just females that males feel that same pressure
power.
of like,
yes, absolutely. I don't know what that pressure must feel like. I mean, I don't think I would, but I
gotta say when, because at this point he already had movies out, like you said, the big ones, like fucking the one you said.
He did the Mummy, right?
Mummy and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, those are people know what they are. Like, so if this is post Mummy and guys is wiggling, fingering your.
But what
taint
if it was
there,
an $8 million part? Say he's in an office to get a role that's gonna pay him $8 million.
Wife, he's like, hey, you haven't fucking booked a gig in like 2 years.
Exactly.
What's going on, bro? Like,
exactly. So do you let this guy touch your taint or do you not? I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, it's believable in the sense that you don't see him around.
I believe
no more.
him. I believe him 100%.
Domino's becomes biggest chain in the world. You fuck with Domino's?
Biggest chain ever?
Period. It says chain.
No,
chain.
That can't be right.
Yeah, biggest chain.
Really?
Yeah.
Of just pizza or just like?
I don't think the word pizza was in it. I think it just said Domino's biggest chain.
I wonder what. Oh shit! No, Domino's is now the biggest pizza chain in the world.
So it has the word pizza.
Yeah. Yeah,
Still
I
major.
can see that.
There was a Boston comedian, God rest his soul, Kevin Knox, who was one of the best I ever saw on stage, and he was just phenomenal. He just lit up every room. And he had a joke about, don't worry about drunk driving. He's like, wherever you are, just find a Domino's. Order a Domino's to your house and just catch a ride with the Domino's.
Yeah, no shit.
That's pretty dope.
No
though.
shit.
Right?
That is dope.
Just catch a ride with
I
him.
like that.
I think Domino's went downhill, to be honest. I'm not a big Domino's
They did
fan.
for mad years, but then they kind of revamped like a year or so ago, and I don't really ever order it, to be honest.
I can't tell you the last time I've had Domino's.
That leads me to, so then what's your favorite chain? Like chain.
Chain.
Like pizza.
So not local, Brighton
Not
House of
local,
Pizza.
fucking, yeah.
Chain. I think I'd go Papa.
Geno's, not
Yeah,
John's.
I think I'd go Papa. No, not
Geno's
John's.
is
Papa
mine.
Geno's.
What's yours?
I might have Papa Gino's pepperoni as my last meal on death row.
Really?
I love that.
Mine's Papa Gino's the works.
Oh, your works.
They don't
guy.
fuck around.
They're good.
Everything in the
They're
back,
good, man.
they put it on the shit.
Yeah.
Classic
Yeah,
shit.
I like Papa
Dig it.
Gino's. The only thing I do like from Domino's, though, is the Philly cheesesteak pizza. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the shit is all good at 3 a.m., especially
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
Domino's
yeah.
is a college, a
Yeah,
great
yeah, yeah.
college
Yeah, they used to have the
meal.
555 deal.
Sure.
That shit was
Wings,
fucking
you get
clutch.
the pizza, yeah.
on the same shit. Papa John's replaced. Pizza Hut is replacing Papa John's for NFL.
Love it.
I'm sure you
Pizza
guys
Hut
touched
I
on
love
that.
too.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I've had Pizza Hut either.
good.
Is it good?
Yeah, there's not
Maybe
a
I'll
lot
try
where
some
I'm
this
at.
weekend.
I didn't have any Papa John's where I'm at.
Yeah,
up
I don't
there.
either.
So
I don't have
like
Papa
it was nothing
John's
for me,
either.
and plus I don't like Papa John. I don't like Peyton Manning. That whole thing, I fucking just
I agree.
beat it.
Yeah.
Get out of the NFL. I'm cool with that.
Unless they want to advertise on Matty and Nick. Then we
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
course,
Then
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
Stuck on
Papa
stuff as well.
John's.
If you want to advertise your product or anything, Stuck on Stuff podcast at Gmail.
Absolutely. What else? Anything else?
They're rebooting Fresh Prince.
Really?
Now I know we talked about Martin last time.
Oh yeah, they're gonna reboot.
Martin hasn't been announced.
Did
but
you like Martin? Did you ever catch Martin, Matty? Martin Lawrence?
No, I wasn't a big fan.
No,
All right.
yeah.
So
Martin was good.
rebooting Fresh Prince. Here's the kicker though, with a female lead, Fresh Princess of Bel-Air.
Oh, that's I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about it.
We
yet
were
'cause
just
they have-
talking about that. They're doing this
off
now
rip,
to
I
a
don't
lot
like
of
it. Just
shit.
off the top, just with the facts I just presented, I hate it.
What was that
what are you
thing
gonna
that you were talking? What are they
Well,
doing
I went
now
off on
with
a-
girls?
I went off on a rant the other day on the show saying that one of the women are shooting themselves in the foot in a way because, especially in the comedy world, they're crying out.
Damn you, Monique.
They're crying out against like Adam Carolla got in all kinds of trouble because he said women aren't as funny as men.
Facts.
Wow.
Well,
is that facts?
No, I'm not saying
According
that.
to Arthur Spooner, shit is facts. Humor is a male trait.
He loves The Office.
Keep
I've
it
never
moving.
seen The Office in my life.
No. You always say Office. Arthur Spooner is from King of Queens.
King of Queens.
That's
That's Snook, not me. I'm not saying whether Adam was right or wrong, but what I am saying is
Facts.
if it's important for women to be seen as vital comedic voices, which I believe they are. I know women. We're having one on the show this
we
week.
had Lisa Lampanelli on today.
Funny as any
One of
man
the
ever
funniest
put on earth.
fucking
You guys killed it with Lisa, and
comedians.
Lisa's one of the GOATs.
Kelly McFarland be on the show this week, one of the funniest comedians I've
Yep.
ever seen, male or female. But if they want to be seen as fresh comedic voices, they have to stop remaking movies and doing all-girl casts. You can't redo Ghostbusters. I'm sorry, you can't.
Well, the problem is, do you think it was a female that remade? That was probably the guy up top that was like, we're going to remake
right,
this with female.
But they should. But I'm sorry. You can still make a paycheck and like
Kristen Wiig didn't
Kristen
need
Wiig,
to do that.
Right, she's
She's
got the power to
Kristen
go,
Wiig.
fuck you, I'm going to write another Bridesmaids. It was
Or
brilliant.
I'm gonna go
It was
do
brilliant.
I'll go do MacGruber 2, the funniest movie
Right.
of all time. It needs a part 2. Let's go.
Hey, MacGruber, underrated comedy. You're the first guy I've met in a long time.
Top 3 comedy all
It's
time.
so underrated.
I've never
All
heard of
time.
MacGruber
It's
in
so
my life,
underrated.
dude.
Snook.
Top 3 all
right
time.
here.
Is it a cartoon?
No,
it's
it's
fucking
based on an
MacGruber.
SNL character. It's underrated comedy. That and Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox
Walk
stories.
Hard, amazing.
Yeah, he
Walk
brought
Hard,
that in. He wants me
amazing.
to watch it.
You never seen Walk Hard?
No.
Gotta watch Walk Hard.
But I
Underrated.
love John C. Reilly.
I got real
so.
quick. I was at a session and in New York City and saw Will Forte. And
Love
I said,
Will Forte.
And I said,
Big
Will,
Forte fan.
I said, it was at a place called Star Treks. I had a weekly gig there I used to do voiceover for Stars Network. And I saw him. And so it was like one of those things where he knew I wasn't just a person off the street. I was an actor there to do a job, and he was there to do a job. And I said, Will, I just want to say I don't bother you. He's like, no. I said, I lecture people till I'm blue in the face. MacGruber is one of the most underrated comedies I've ever seen. And I swear to God, Snook, as I'm saying it, he starts welling up. Like he welled up. He goes,
the fuck out
he like,
of
I
here.
saw it. I saw him like, he didn't cry, but he's like, thank you so much. We worked so hard on that. And sometimes I feel like da-da-da. He was so nice.
What's this
He
dude's
needs to
name?
know
William?
that.
Will Forte.
He's got to know that.
I think now
when
it's
he
become,
watches it, he has to know. That's like the funniest movie of all time.
There's a lot of us out there. You know what I mean? Like it's become a cult classic.
Like
I think
me
it's
and
getting
my
a new
boys,
life.
my best friend in particular, we watched. I've probably seen it close to 60 times. 60, 70.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched this
It's
shit out.
phenomenally funny.
There's not a bad line in that movie.
It's phenomenal.
Grabbing Felipe to do the straight. It's everything about it is perfect. And now he's Last Man on Earth. I'm a big fan as well. I like Will Forte. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah, you can tell he's just like a sweet soul.
MacGruber, the fucking best.
So where did that come from?
Couldn't tell you.
Women. They're remaking.
Oh, right, because we talked
Yeah.
about Kristen Wiig and
Yeah,
she's in
yeah,
MacGruber.
yeah.
But
So-
there's so many things they could do to tell a
Original.
woman's perspective of life. It's just like we're devoid of ideas. Why are we doing? And Stiz, you're right. There's a new movie now that they're remaking with an all-girls cast. And we brought up Ghostbusters, and I can't remember what it was. And
Yeah, it was a
I know what it
Martin
was.
Short.
It was
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. It was Ruprecht. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah,
They're going to
I've never
redo
seen
Dirty
that.
Rotten Scoundrels supposedly
I don't know
with
if I
an
know that one.
all-female cast, and someone's going to try to do what Steve Martin did in that time and place, which you cannot replicate. It was perfect. Now, I'm not saying women aren't as funny as Steve Martin. I'm saying you can't do that role.
right.
It's just it's lightning
Some
in a bottle.
things you just
You
need
can't
to
do
leave
it.
alone. It's like
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I
at
don't
the
know if I
same
would have
time-
watched the new Ghostbusters even if it was guys.
Exactly
to be honest
right.
With you.
Exactly
And-
right.
And
But
I
at the
didn't
same-
watch the one.
But there's nothing new under the sun. So I'm a big Freddy Krueger fan, right? And Robert Englund, I watch a lot of interviews with him, and he's always saying, because they give him shit for they did a Freddy remake. Robert wasn't in it. He didn't play Freddy.
Right.
But it fucking sucked. But beyond that, he says, he's like, guys, listen, he's like the movies that your grandparents seen, in black and white were all remade.
That's
you know,
kind of true too.
So
yeah.
was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels a completely original idea? Was Ghostbusters a completely original idea, or was that kind of based on something else?
It
too?
was to the millions of people that went to the theater when it was the only Ghostbusters that ever came out at the time. You know,
It's
what I
a
mean?
different point, Sis. I know what you're saying in a broad sense. Everything
Nothing
is
new.
right
Yeah.
because
Technically,
you
yeah.
could take a movie and go, well, that was influenced by this
Yeah,
1920s
yeah.
silent film that had a
But-
guy who was weird.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
completely.
But remaking a
Remaking,
franchise
yeah,
is
yeah.
a whole nother kettle fish.
Hey, one thing we only got a couple minutes left.
I got a couple.
One thing I wanted to make sure that I say is I watched this crazy Netflix special called Push. Have you heard about this thing yet? Push.
No.
All right, so Push is this special like hour and a half long thing on Netflix where this guy, he's a psychologist, and it's almost like a giant punked. And so everyone in it is actors, and they're all acting, and this is all like a giant prank, right? But the one guy that isn't in on it, like the victim, they try to get this guy so fucking to the point of insanity
I think I heard about
that he
this, yeah.
commits murder. He pushes a guy off of a fucking skyscraper.
Right. And then what? They jump out and say, surprise.
Yeah, it gets to the point where either he kills this person or doesn't, pretend kill this person. He doesn't know. He thinks he's really about to kill someone.
I heard somebody
Yeah.
talking about this earlier today, but I didn't know
It
if they
is
were talking.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
But
in
now
the
we're
last
getting next
10
level
minutes,
shit. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that too. But yeah, we are getting
We're
next
getting
level
closer and closer
shit.
to that movie with the girl.
Yeah, where it's
Where everyone got to kill themselves.
Yeah,
Jennifer
yeah.
Lawrence, whatever.
Yeah. Where
Fucking,
where
this shit is gonna start to become reality.
Yeah, that was like that movie Death Race or something where they would take prisoners and they fucking would like
that's
make them race in cars.
Running
and-
Man.
Yeah.
Running
like-
Man was like
Yeah, like
Schwarzenegger.
This shit is gonna become real, and one of these days, somebody's gonna fucking die or something.
Oh yeah,
somebody's really gonna kill somebody before they say surprise or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and all I will say is, yo, make sure, man, if you're listening, Snuck, Matty, we got the weekend. We're going into the weekend. You guys have to watch this, man, because I'm so curious to see what you guys think about it.
I wanted to ask you this: how do you guys deal with on the Matty and Nick show, Stiz, with the cigarette smoking now?
Are you fucking serious?
Hold on, because I want to know, like, when you guys are on air, how does it work? Because Stiz needs a cig every 19 minutes, I'd say.
True.
So what does he do when you guys are on air?
It's a major problem.
Does he dot in and out like on
he
breaks?
Does.
What's going on?
It's a major problem, and we're gonna get him
You're doing
to
the
quit
hypnotist
smoking.
thing,
Yep, and we're gonna chronicle it on the air.
Oh, I like that. I didn't.
I will just say, so we did a story today that some bullshit fucking study that says that should people who don't smoke get an extra 6 days off a year because supposedly smokers, when you add up all their fucking smoke breaks, it's 6 days.
Absolutely.
So should you're a smoker,
but they don't know that. Just the same way that Matty don't know that. Because you know why? Because I don't smoke every 19 minutes like this scumbag right here.
Habitual.
Like, I smoke. This is the thing. I need a cig or two if I'm drinking beers. Problem is, I drink beers on the daily, so I keep a pack. I keep a pack.
But you're not like,
I smoke a pack a week. He smokes a pack a day.
I smoke a pack a day.
Got it.
So like throughout the day, I'm not driving around smoking cigs for no reason. I'm out of that shit.
No reason.
I had a kid 5 years ago. Non-smoking house, non-smoking car, non-smoking everything.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Nighttime, I might rip a lung dot.
Yeah,
maybe one.
A lung dot.
This kid just sucks them down.
He does.
And it's like.
And in my defense, I always say that I can fucking smoke a cigarette faster, or if not at the same time as you can run to the bathroom and piss. And I think a lot of the times you're bullshitting in the bathroom, checking Facebook
Stanley,
and shit.
That's not something that we're proud of, though.
Yeah,
just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
No, you're right. And honestly, I've smoked now since like 16 years old, so like I'm a good 15, 16 years in.
Yep.
And I've never wanted to quit. And I am finally at a place now where I genuinely want to quit, and I'm almost mentally there.
If you want to quit, then you don't even need
I am saying right here, and I said that a couple cartons ago was going to be my last carton, but it's fucking tough. Like, I'm very fearful. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm literally fearful. Like,
like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah,
chew your
like,
fucking nails off, or what's going to happen? Yeah.
But by this summer, I will not be smoking. That's facts.
So now it's going to be this summer. I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that. One more thing. A husband arrested for killing his wife. She led a secret life as a porn star. Could you guys wife a girl who has a porn past, even if it was just one sex tape or something? Could you wife a girl that has that out there?
I don't think I could. Oh, I mean, I don't know though, because love's a powerful thing.
That's a tough.
There's a lot of variables too.
Variables.
Because I have a variable that I could accept.
Which is what?
Solo scene. Just her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not getting dick down or nothing. Yeah. But her pussy and her titties is still out there for everybody to see.
Yeah, that's true.
But if she's bad, right? She's a bad bitch. She's a hot girl.
So what if she?
So my shit is like, yo, everybody can look. Oh shit, that's mine.
What if she was in Playboy? She's not getting. She's not
along
fucking
the same,
someone else, but her tits and her pussy.
This is along the same line. She's not getting dick down for the world to see, so everyone can look at how beautiful she is and be like, damn, Snuck's hitting that.
Yeah. You know? Would you, Matty?
I think I could if there was a situation where a woman, had a really tough upbringing or something and was put in that environment, and then there was like a serious psychic change where she was transformed as a human being. It was like she was, and just this awesome person who went through a terrible time.
So your thing is more about,
you know what I mean?
Your thing is more about the person.
Absolutely,
the girl.
yeah.
My thing is more about myself and
and
getting destroyed in group chat. There's no way I'm getting destroyed in my group chat by my boys.
I'm not on group chat, so I'm good.
My boys would destroy me. Yo, you see Snugg's girl taking that dick? Fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I'm concerned with myself and how people view me, and fuck that girl.
That would be super.
It's nice of you to think of others, though.
That would be super crazy. Yo, so Matty, where can people hit you up? What's your socials, man?
All my socials are at the Matty Blake with 2 T's, MattyBlake, at the Matty Blake.
And we also didn't say, but you auditioned for a big Netflix thing. You might have something crazy in the works.
Yeah, it happens. I audition from time to time because my agent's still back in New York and L.A. Buckwald. I booked Rough Night, the movie with
Scarlett Johansson.
You can
Fucking kids in a
Whoa.
movie with ScarJo.
if you see that movie with Scarlett Johansson, I give the guy a sobriety test in the movie. I'm the cop with the mustache that gives him a sobriety test.
I mustache your
But yeah, I
question.
just auditioned for a thing for Netflix, and we'll see.
It's awesome,
looking,
bro.
Looking
It's
good.
awesome.
You're
Snuck,
killing it.
where
Knock on
you
wood.
at?
I'm everywhere, kid. Superstar Snuck on everything. Album in stores everywhere. Also, today's Stuck on Stuff was brought to you by the new ST The Squad self-titled album
Oh, yeah,
in
go
stores
get that.
everywhere. March 16th, featuring your boy. Thank you.
Go get that. And we are at Stuck on Stuff Podcast on Instagram, at Stuck on Stuff on Twitter, at StuckOnStuffPodcast at gmail.com if you want to hit us up, any questions, anything like that. I'm Stiz Grimy on everything, and we out. Peace.